Saturday Social is powered by FIFA 22 with PlayStation.
Only one place to start. We always do this on our first show of a new year, and it's to get the guests to give their predictions on all the Premier League clubs. And we've got a topic for each club. Do you want to explain how it's going to work, Joe?
Yeah, very, very simple. We've got 20 questions for 20 Premier League clubs. You're going to have 60 seconds on each club. We're going to start in alphabetical order. We may as well kick it off straight away with Arsenal. So the first question we've got for you guys to predict is, will Arsenal make the top 4? Theo, 60 seconds on the clock. Let's go.
I believe so.
Oh!
Because you look the way they're playing, they are destroying teams right now. It's not just the 1-2-0s. No, they've got a youthful side, Martinelli coming through, Saka in the team, even Odegaard smashing it. I underestimated how good he'd be this year. But they seem to be a squad. There's a togetherness, and I feel that. So I believe they'll take that 4th place. And I know Smithy's going to be fuming with me, being Tottenham. That's the big competition, though. You're both not in Europe, so it's going to be one or the other for me, and I think Arsenal take it.
Yeah, both playing well, actually. It's a fair point.
Carl?
I think they're the best out of the chasing pack. So all of the West Ham, Tottenham, Manchester United, Arsenal, they're going for that 4th spot because I do believe Man City, Liverpool and Chelsea will take 1, 2, 3 in whichever order. I think Arsenal are the best team currently. They've got some tough people coming up. New Year's Day, Manchester City. It's a big game today, a huge, huge fixture. So if they can get anything out of that, then that'll definitely help them. But no, they're not going to do it. How did you actually answer?
Good disagreement.
A lot of their young players playing very well at the minute. Arsenal, a lot of goals from them. Let's move on to Aston Villa. The question we're asking is, will Steven Gerrard finish in the top 8 with Aston Villa? Aston Villa look very good under Gerrard, don't they? 60 seconds on the clock. Kyle?
I'd like them to. I definitely would like them to. Do I think they could, if they continue the form that they are on, and Steven Gerrard, the team that they've got, the players they've brought in, they've spent the Jack Grealish money very, very well. I'm excited to see what Danny Ings, Buendia, Leon Bailey, what they can do towards the back end of the season, because they need that consistency if they want to go on to secure a top 8. If they did manage to do it, I think it'd be such an achievement. I think it'd be a huge, huge success. So I think they can. I think they'll go and do it.
Theo, agree with Kyle, or do you disagree with him?
I disagree. I don't think they will. I think Leicester City are going to take that 8th place spot. I think we've seen, I know they're in Europe, they've got other competitions to worry about, but I think Brendan Rodgers is a good manager, and in the end, he'll pull it out the bag.
There we go. Bit of disagreement. What do you think, Joe?
I don't think they will. I think the top 7 is quite settled, and then there's sort of a chasing pack of Villa, Wolves, Palace, Leicester, and I think that Villa might just miss out to a more experienced side like Leicester, who have been there and done it a little bit longer.
Okay, done a good job.
Very close, though. Very close. Yeah, and it will make the sacking of Gerrard a good decision if they get anywhere near the sacking of Smith. Sorry, and the hiring of Gerrard a good decision if they get anywhere near it, won't it? Let's do the next one then. This is Brentford, and Brentford's is, will Ivan Toney stay at the club in 2022? Let's go.
I'll start with that. Yes, I think he will. I really want Brentford to stay up. I would love for them to have a few years in the Premier League, and I think that Ivan Toney, he can really cement himself as a great player at Brentford, but as a great Premier League striker as well. I don't want him to go on to somewhere else and then go to a bigger club, sorry Brentford fans, to a bigger club, and to do well there but not hit the levels I think he could. If he can have some consistency, get some experience in the Premier League and then move on in a few years, I think that'll work much better for him.
Yeah, I think he's got more to prove at Brentford. He had an incredible season in the Championship, broke records for contributions. He's got the ability to do that in the Premier League. We've not seen it yet. He got hit with COVID, had to stay out the team for a little bit. He's going to go on a good run, I'm sure, a great run of goals in the Premier League, but not just yet. I think he's going to stay at he'll stay at Brentford in 2022.
They've got to stay in the league first, though. Brentford.
Yeah.
I think if they were to go down, then I don't think then Ivan Toney would be staying.
Brentford will stay in the league.
They're staying up. They're staying up.
They should.
I believe so.
Anyway, let's move straight on to the next one. Brighton. And the question we're asking is, can Brighton keep hold of... I'm a big fan of Graham Potter, as you know. But can they keep hold of him? 60 seconds on the clock. Thogden, what are your thoughts?
Yes, Brighton can keep hold of Graham Potter. He's got a lot more to prove at Brighton. There's many more little things. Maybe go for a little European place in the Premier League table. They've got the qualities there to do it. I genuinely believe so. You see the way they play. They against Brentford,
great coach, isn't he?
incredible. Yeah, the way he's got them playing football with a little bit more investment.
And a goal scorer.
And a goal scorer. Maupai's doing a great job recently. Trossard as well. I seriously believe Potter can sneak up to that little 8 spot in competition with Villa and Leicester. You know, get at that level And then he's got to be thinking about future moves. For me right now, he's keeping his place.
Kyle, 20 seconds.
I don't know where he goes. I don't know what the next step is for him, because he can take Brighton on. I think he's a great coach. I've had the pleasure of interviewing him, and he inspires you as a presenter. You're like, oh, I want to play for you, like so. And the players, you must think, what is he doing with them, the work he's doing, how can he inspire them to go on? So I hope they can keep him, and I think they will keep holding him for a few more years.
Perfect timing, Kyle.
Great timing. Let's move on then to the next one. Burnley. Will Burnley get relegated
You said that.
from the Premier Burnley. Will they get relegated from the Premier League, Theo? 60 seconds.
No. They never get relegated. Is anyone here going to disagree with me?
I actually am. I think that they're due a relegation at some point, and I think a lot of their fans know it's coming at some point, and I think that it will happen. They'll bounce back up, and I think it could be a very good thing for them to go down to the Championship.
So who's going down for you?
This season, I think Burnley are definitely in there, Norwich, maybe Newcastle. I think that's going to be between those.
It feels like the end of a cycle, potentially. Players coming to the end of the contract with Tarkowski and me.
Exactly. That's why I think that they will go down. If it's not this season, it's coming very, very soon.
Yeah, I think the reason they'll stay up is very simple. Sean Dyche knows what he's doing. He's going to have a good January transfer window. I reckon he'll surprise a few people with the signings. They'll survive, and I think Newcastle, it seems a bit of a mess right now. I don't really know what transfers they're going for, what the plan is. I think Sean Dyche is structured. He'll work the wins in there eventually. They've got 15 games, loads in hand. He's staying up.
Okay, I love that. Complete disagreement on that trend about Burnley from the guests.
That's good. That's what we want.
That's what we want. Chelsea, the question we're asking is, will Chelsea win a trophy? Of course, in a lot of competitions, a lot of trophies available to them. Will they win a trophy? Carl, let's start with you, 60 seconds.
Yes, they will. I think that they are one of the strongest squads that we've got here in England, and I think that it's quite exciting. I don't think it'll be the Premier League, because I think that will be between Liverpool and Manchester City. So I think that for Chelsea, well, what can they go on to do? Will it be the Champions League? We know that Thomas Tuchel, he managed to do that for them last year. Carabao Cup, I mean, for them, they're looking at a trophy, and I think that they will get a trophy because they've got the strength in depth, and I think that they're so good as a squad. They've got experience, they've got youngsters, they've got exciting players, and Romelu Lukaku, if he can hit form again towards the end of that season, they could go on to do anything.
So not the Premier League for you, but will win a trophy. Theo, do you agree with that?
They will win a trophy. The Super Cup, they'll win that. I think they're in contention for EFL Cup. They won it in the last 4. FA Cup potentially, but I don't think Premier League or Champions League this year. The players seem a little bit burnt out already in this busy sort of December, January period. I'm unsure whether the players will be ready for another Champions League. It's going to be hard to hold that trophy.
Okay. All right, both agreeing on a domestic cup probably then. Let's move on to the next side, Crystal Palace then. And it's, will Crystal Palace sign Conor Gallagher permanently?
Great player.
Great player.
60 seconds on the clock.
What a player, and the experience he's got on going on this loan move. And I think it's great that he's played so many games that January he's not going back to Chelsea. They're going to keep him for the rest of this season. I don't think they'll sign him permanently because, again, he's one of these young, exciting players that Chelsea have got. They've got a great academy. We know how great the Chelsea academy is, but does he see himself being at Crystal Palace? Can he break into that Chelsea team? Does he admit defeat and go, oh, the Chelsea squad is so good, I'm not going to go there. Where else can I go? I don't think his future lies at Crystal Palace. I think he can have an exciting season here. I'd love to see him have a few seasons there, but not sign permanently, maybe another loan. I think he'll go out on loan somewhere else. Again, I can't see him going back to Chelsea and staying there, but not signing permanently at Crystal Palace.
Yeah, I think he's going to be... I don't think he'll go to Palace. I think Chelsea... Recently, Tuchel said in an interview that he loves the style of play. Next season, he'll be in the Chelsea midfield for me.
Oh, starting.
Yes.
Oh, there we go.
Wow.
Starting for Chelsea midfield. There we go. Okay, next up, we've got Everton. The trend that we're asking for Everton is, will Rafa Benitez survive as Everton manager? 60 seconds on the clock. Theo, let's start with you for this one.
Tough to call. I'd like to give him a January transfer window, sign a few players that he wants in his team. It's been difficult for him to replace the number 10 of James Rodriguez. There's not really been anyone there to take his boots. There's been rumours in January of, he's going to have the players to sign who he wants.
Because he hasn't spent much himself in terms of investment.
But he might lose Luka Dean.
Yeah.
That's a good point. And you do worry if you've fallen out with one of your best players and allow him to go to another Premier League club. If you'd be a Toffees fan, you'd be very worried. I think for some reason, I've got a feeling he's going to work it out and he's going to stay.
We're on day 1 of 2022 right now. It means we've got 365 days, all right? That's right, I had to do the maths just there. This season, I think he'll survive, but going into next season, if they have a poor start, how long will the Everton fans give him? That's what's going to struggle. We've seen they've been very vocal on him already. I think that he's got this season, and going into next season, he could be one of the first casualties.
Yeah, it's going to be crucial to get Dominic Calvert-Lewin back fit, isn't it?
Yes.
Crucial to get Calvert-Lewin back fit. Let's move on to the next slide then. Leeds, and it's will Leeds keep hold of Calvin Phillips?
Yes, I think they will, because he's a Leeds United fan. I think that plays a huge part in it. And Leeds are at an interesting place because they had such a great season last season. It's not going so well this season that if they were to lose some of those players, key players, Calvin Phillips, we know what he did at the Euros last year. We know that he's one of these players who's building this experience. I think he's vital in that Leeds midfield, and I think he's got a massive role in the squad in helping keep them up in the Premier League, because they had a great season, as I said, last year, but this year, next year, they want to be a Premier League team that's there for years and years, and he could make his mark over the next few years with them. Yeah,
and we've seen how much they've struggled when he's been injured as well.
But do you not think he wants to make the step up for his own career?
Where?
So he looks back, he could go to any... He's a top midfielder. There's links to Man United, but I did see his tweet where he's like, I'm not leaving. You know what I mean? So he clearly loves the club, but I think when he looks back at his career, he wants to say, yeah, I played for another club, played for a big club. We'll see.
Yeah, he's got to be playing Champions League.
Are you saying that Leeds aren't a big club, just so the Leeds fans know?
They're not in Europe every year.
Okay.
Just put
there you have it, Leeds fans. That's close.
We'll move on to the next one. We need to move on for timing. The next club, where we're going after Leeds, is Manchester City. No, it's not. Where are we going? Leicester, isn't it? Leicester, yeah. Will Brennan was on the screen, so just said it. Will Brennan want to stay at Leicester City? Kyle, 60 seconds, what do you think?
Yes, I think he will for this year, definitely. Because, again, looking at Leicester, what they could go on to achieve over the last few years, I don't think they would do that without Brendan Rodgers. I think he's a great coach. I think that he can help them get back into challenging for those European spots once again, doing well in Europe as well. That is the goal for them. The fans want to be travelling Europe, seeing their team doing well, have fun, enjoy it and win trophies. I think that Brendan Rodgers is the key for Leicester to do that.
Can you see him staying, Theo?
No, I can't see him staying. He left Celtic quite abruptly. He's got a history of leaving at quite random moments. I think he's built something brilliant at Leicester, but when he gets a good offer in front of him, and a big, even bigger club come along and say, "Look, we want you. This is the project. Here's the contract," I think he'll say yes.
Where do you think he'll go then, quickly?
Manchester United. Okay. There were links with Barcelona at one point, then they got Xavi. I don't know. Who knows? He might go abroad.
Wow. That would be some move, Brendan Rodgers. Let's move on to the next side. The side Smith went early with, I think, Liverpool. It's will Mo Salah win the Ballon d'Or 2022?
I really want him to. I think that he is currently the best player in the world, hands down. But will they give it to a player that isn't Messi, that isn't Ronaldo? Lewandowski should have got it at one point. I think that they could give him this attacking award that was given to Lewandowski, best striker in the world or something. I would love Mo Salah to win the Ballon d'Or. I really would, because I think he deserves it. I think that actually he's been the star man for Liverpool, and I just don't think he does get the respect, which is weird, because he gets a lot of respect, but I don't think he gets the respect on that world level, Mo Salah. So I want him to. I don't think he will.
Do you think Liverpool need to win major, like they have to win a Champions League and a Premier League for him to be considered?
They just need to win one of the two, and I think it could be a Champions League this season. Premier League already looks like City, especially with AFCON coming up. I think Mo Salah will win the Ballon d'Or, especially after the stick that they got for giving it to Messi and Ronaldo. Again, one of the two for so many years, Ballon d'Or. So I think it will go to Salah this time.
Ooh, okay, perfect timing. Let's move on to Manchester City. Got to come to Kyle first with this one, his beloved team. We're asking, will Man City win the Champions League? And I don't want you sitting on the fence.
Get off the fence.
Oh, we could win on our day. Will they win it, Kyle? Come on.
I think that Manchester City are the best team in Europe currently. I would go out and I would say that
that's a real politician.
Don't sit
on the fence.
The thing about the Champions League, and fans will say, oh, well, you've never won it, so that's why you're saying this. Let's be 100% honest. It's not easy to win the Champions League. If it would have been, Sir Alex Ferguson would have won it every single year. He didn't. Pep Guardiola would have won it more than he has. He hasn't. So I think that you could look at City's team and say, yes, they are going to win the Champions League because of the squad. It will happen at some point. It's not been the last few years, and every year I get my hopes up. Every year I'm bitterly disappointed. This year's the year. They're going to do it.
There we go.
Yeah.
Is this year the year for Man City to win the Champions League?
I agree with you, Kyle. Because City are resting players already. You know, De Bruyne has only started 9 in the Prem. They're not burnt out this year. They're probably going to win both the Prem and the Champions League. They look likely to.
You did just say Liverpool are going to win the Champions League, though, so I'm not
That's a good point. I said maybe.
Liverpool and Man City both in the Champions League.
Yeah, never
That'd be a good
final. Big final. Let's move on then to Manchester United. The question we're asking is who will become the permanent Manchester United manager? Theo, I'll come to you on this one first.
Maurizio Pochettino. He's in the interviews out in France. He seems to mention quite a lot how he doesn't want it to be a long-term thing where he's had to look after 3 world-class players that all have a bit of personality, a bit of character in that team. He seems he can't really handle it right now. So I think he does want that Manchester United move. He really enjoyed his time in England over at Tottenham. Will he go back to Tottenham? I'm sure Smithy would love that, but I think United is his next move, and especially after the last few games with Ralph, something tells me he's going to stay as the interim. He won't get the full-time job.
Yeah, okay. Pochettino, Eric Ten Hag, maybe?
I think Eric Ten Hag. I think it's set up for him or Pochettino. When you're looking at the two, their styles, looking at the players, looking at the squad, it'll be interesting to see how Rangnick sets them up going forward and actually what he can do maybe with this squad, with the players. It's such a difficult one. It's going to rumble on between those two. It's definitely going to be Pochettino or Ten Hag. I would say Ten Hag. I think that if you're thinking consistently over the next 5 years, that's the smart choice.
Okay, 2 quality managers. Let's move straight on to Newcastle. Now, I'm intrigued by this next one, Joe, Newcastle, because the question we're asking is, who will be Newcastle's standout signing this year? Linked with so many players, we know they've got money. Intrigued to know who they will sign, but who will be their standout signing of the year? So, of course, that's 2 windows. Who are you saying, Theo?
Now, who I'm going to mention, it's not really an exciting name. As I say, it's not a player with flair. He's going to just go in and score loads of goals. No, I actually go into the defence because it's a position I really think Newcastle need to improve on. And that's Nicolas Soulé from Bayern Munich. If they get this done, it would be absolutely incredible. I think he'll become a Geordie hero. I think he'll go to that town and be a legend. The 2022 year he could have, where if he goes in there, potentially the future captain, we've seen that's up for... they don't really know who the captain's going to be with the years to come, so I reckon Nicolas Soulé for the future.
Okay, it's a good shout.
It's a big
the kind of player they're linked with, do you think they will go with players that are struggling with other clubs, or do you think they're going to go and spend huge money in January? How do you see it going?
I think we'll see a bit of both. There'll be a marquee signing, a huge signing, but they need to bring in players with experience that will keep them up. That's the most important
Premier League experience.
Premier League experience. James Tarkowski, I think that's a player that they should be aiming. Someone like that, because they need that experience, they need to stay up, and someone like... He's got the experience to do that.
Okay, let's move on to the next side then, Norwich. And the question is very simple, can Norwich keep their Premier League status? Theo?
It's very difficult to say yes, isn't it?
Yeah.
After looking at the last few weeks, I think they'll get relegated. I think the first club you mention in that category when you're talking about relegation battle, it's been difficult for them. I just don't think they've got the players. They've had a lot of players out recently as well. So it's looking bleak for them.
I agree. It's very difficult to say that they're going to stay. When you're looking at the teams around them and you think it's going to be a battle, they pulled it back. They've had a few wins now. Could they do a miracle? No. I think that I got my hopes up. I wanted them to. But actually, over the last few games, you've looked at them and you've thought, can they survive? And if they do survive this year, great. But then next season, they'll just be in the same position. And that is genuinely what I believe, is that no matter what happens this season, next year, they'll be in another relegation battle. The year after that, they'll come back up into the Premier League. They'll be in a relegation battle.
What's weird is they're only 3 points away from getting out the relegation zone. So who knows? They've gone around with Dean Smith, like when he signed.
They've only scored 8 goals, though.
They've got more wins than Newcastle Burnley.
Time's up, though, so we've got to move on to Southampton, a player that, as someone who used to take free kicks, penalties and corners, someone I'm a big fan of for his technique. James Ward-Prowse, the technique this man has is sublime. But will he break into England's World Cup squad is the question. 60 seconds, Theo?
Yes, and I really hope he does, because if we're losing or trailing in a match and we need someone to bring on, he's the man for set pieces, corners, free kicks.
Good penalty taker as well, Ward-Prowse.
Yeah, he's one of the best. Exactly. We don't want another penalty shootout like Italy. I'm sorry to bring up that game.
Still haunted by it myself.
I know. We could have done with JWP, and I just think he'd be excellent. Bring him on DCL. He could whip in a ball to DCL. I can already picture us coming back late in a game.
Didn't he?
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm buzzing. I think he'd be key. I don't think he'll start.
Yeah.
Kyle, what do you reckon?
I think the same. I think he's on that fringe. But then you've got players like James Maddison, who seems to be building up more and more momentum. There's going to be a lot of competition to get into this England squad. It's going to be so exciting, and it's a great headache for Gareth Southgate to have going into the World Cup. Conor Gallagher, another one that I wanted to put in there. There's so many players that you think, oh, they could be in it, they could be in it. Yeah. If he wasn't in it, I'd be upset. He'd be upset, but I'd understand why, because of the competition.
Yeah. Let's move on then to Smithy's beloved Tottenham Hotspur, and it's will Antonio Conte win a trophy for Spurs, Carl?
No. Sorry, Smithy, it's not going to happen. Not this year. They're building something.
Nothing on the fence.
I know, on the fence with every answer except Spurs.
No, not this season. And then going into next season, they could. We've seen them in finals before. We've seen them in the Carabao Cup final. We've seen that they're down now to the last 4. But you look at the competition, look at everyone around them. On their day, Harry Kane, Heung-min Son, they could pull out a moment of magic. We know that. But are they going to win a trophy? No, I just can't see it.
Do you know, I think we have this question each year, don't we? Whoever the managers will win a trophy.
We did last year.
Just to hammer me, I think.
We had it last year with
do you think they will?
Smithy, you should be hopeful. You're 2 wins away in the Carabao Cup. Surely, Conte can hold it off. I know it's
technically 3 wins. It's a 2-legged semi-final.
Did they take that away?
No, it's currently still 2 legs, yeah.
Okay, it's currently 2, because that's massive. I still believe...
So you're not winning one there? Yeah.
No, it's tough.
You think he might?
4 big teams. I think he'll sneak 1.
Oh, okay. What I will say is the turnaround since Antonio Conte's come in, obviously doing a great job, fantastic manager, so we will see. Next up is Watford. And a player that, I mean, went a little bit under the radar as a signing originally, but what a season he's having. Can Watford keep hold of Emmanuel Dennis? It's been on fire this season. Carl, what do you think?
I think it depends what happens this season. If they manage to retain their Premier League status. If they stay in the league, then I think they can keep him there with that Premier League football. If they do get relegated, there'll be people sniffing around. People are looking at him thinking, what can he add to our team? Not just the goals, but also everything else that he provides as well. And I think that for Watford, they will look to cash out at some point as well, because they could make some money off him. And if they do go down, then they definitely need to bring somebody else in that can help them get back up.
Yeah, 8 goals and 5 assists in 16 appearances. It's been a good signing, hasn't it?
It's astonishing. I think teams like West Ham should be really looking at him. They're looking for a striker alongside Antonio so he doesn't get burnt out at the end of the season. And you've got someone like Emmanuel Dennis absolutely smashing it. They should be knocking on the door. I don't think they'll keep him.
Yeah, I mean, finished there. We may as well move it on to a club that Theo just mentioned as well then. Superb link. We've got West Ham up next. And this is a tough one, I think. Will Declan Rice stay at West Ham, Theo?
I think they will. Mark Noble, in this big 2022, I mean, absolute hero of a player, will be, I think, finishing his time at West Ham. And you look at their midfield, it's so key. They hold on to Souček and Declan Rice. He seems to love the club. He's having a great time. I think they will.
I agree, and I actually want them to as well, because he's one of these players. Look at Mark Noble, you look at the different players that West Ham have had over the years, these kind of cult legends that they are. Mark Noble, Declan Rice, it's kind of, he's the fit to go into that mould next, and he could stay there for a very long time, and he could be the key in helping West Ham actually progress. We're seeing that they're already challenging, we're talking about them possibly for top 4. They're not going to do that without Souček, without Declan Rice, so I think they need to do whatever they can to keep hold of him, and he could go on to help them win trophies, and surely that's what he wants to do as well.
Yeah, he's big. He's got a good relationship with Mark Noble as well. Even in the Euros, he was calling him and asking for advice. And I think Mark Noble's been influential in him off the field as well as on it for Declan Rice. Last but by no means least, because it is alphabetical order, as we said, Wolves. Now, I like this one because Jose Sarr has been brilliant for Wolves this season. He's got one of the best XGs prevented in the whole of Europe. Been fantastic for Wolves. They've conceded so few goals. But can he become the best goalkeeper in the Premier League, Kyle?
No, he can't become the best goalkeeper in the Premier League when you've got Alisson, when you've got Ederson, when you've got David De Gea. It's going to be tough competition. If you look at the stats and you look at XG and you look at that across Europe, yeah, you can look at him and say, all right, he's doing wonderful things. But to become one of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League, I mean, you've got to be one of the best teams in the Premier League. Surely he wants to be keeping clean sheets, and yes, he's managing to do that, but ultimately, what's that going to help Wolves do this season?
It's a fair point you're saying with the other keepers that are so good, but do you think he has gone under the radar how good a season he has had when we give you the stats like that, conceded so few goals, best XG prevented across Europe's main leagues? Is it a bit underappreciated, do you think?
I'm sorry, Carl, I disagree. I think he can be the best keeper in the Premier League. If he's got the best save percentage this year, on par with Aaron Ramsdale, no one's better. You look at Emi Martinez and the Ballon d'Or nominees at Villa, he's up there. Second or third after Donnarumma, you've got to respect it. So, yeah, I think he can.
There we go.